Good morning, Year 6. Welcome to Thursday, the 4th of June's English lesson, where we are going to be planning our own information text. And you're going to be getting creative with this one. So by the end of the lesson, you should be able to plan an information text and consider language choice. Two small but very important success criteria sections there. So let's look at the timeline. This is at the end of the book. So let's look at the Stonehenge timeline. Now, this timeline shows approximately when all the events in the book took place. Now, no one knows the exact length of time between the blue stones being erected, so put up, and the sarsen stones arriving, but we do know that the blue stones came first, and that they would have been in position by the time that Amesbury Archer visited the site. So 10,000 years ago, Stone Age Britain. 6,000 years BC, first farmers. About 5,000 years ago, Aubrey Halls. Then the blue stones were somewhere between 5,000 and 4,000 years ago. The sarsen stones, not long after, and the Amesbury Archer was around that time as well. And of course, now we have got the tourist attraction that it is. And you can see where most of these events took place, okay? All in this sort of section here. So, that is a timeline of Stonehenge. Now, Stonehenge today. Today, tourists travel to Stonehenge from all over the world and puzzle over its mysteries. Many experts have come up with their own theories and ideas. Some are believable and some are crazy. But the one thing we can be sure of is that Stonehenge will probably keep its secrets for many years to come. Stonehenge became the centre of a busy rock festival in the 1970s. Thousands would gather every summer at the Stones to hear rock groups play. The festival was moved in the 1980s to protect the ancient monument. Myths surround Stonehenge. An ancient British legend describes the wizard Merlin bringing the stones from Ireland with the help of a giant. Some people have even suggested Stonehenge was a landing pad for alien spaceships. Many theories about what Stonehenge could have been. Now, this is the end of the book. And yesterday I posted the whole book into your English group. We have missed 1 or 2 pages about the lintel stones, so you can go back and read that if you'd want to, and the ceremonies that may have taken place. And that is all in the PDF file in your English group. But today it's time to start planning your own version. What was Stonehenge used for? What could it have been? Try and think of something really creative and amusing. Okay, you've got absolutely creative freedom with this one here. Okay, so maybe it was used for crazy golf. You know that little golf game you play with like lots of different obstacles around. You've got to get the ball in the hole. Maybe it was that. Was it an alien landing strip? What about a Stone Age gym? Maybe it was a gym for people back in the Stone Age. Maybe pet training. Dogs jumping, who knows? But what else could it have been? Now, as I said, you've got complete creative freedom to be able to decide what Stonehenge may have been. And you're going to make up an information report on whatever your idea is. So the craziest, silliest idea is absolutely fine. Okay? And you'll be planning out your information text. Now, it's not just a complete silly thing. We're going to be using the features of different information reports and information texts. So this is one example of a plan, and this is a report skeleton. Now, it's laid out like this because it's a non-chronological report. I could move these around in any particular order, and that would be fine. Notice I've got my introduction and my conclusion. So my introduction would have a sort of a layout of Stonehenge. It's quickly talk about the types of stone and a very brief history, you know, maybe 3 or 4 sentences of the history. And at the end would be a brief summary of what I've talked about. And again, did prehistory creators ever imagine how their monument would be used? So would they imagine about the ceremonies? Would they have imagined about the tourist attraction it is now? Okay, so a little sort of roundup at the end. And then in the middle, I've described it as an outdoor gym. So I've got my subheadings. Notice here, I've got my subheadings. Probably change to a different colour other than yellow. I've got my subheadings. So this would be the subheading for each paragraph in my report. Okay, now remember this is a non-chronological report. I could put any of these first, second, third, fourth, and it wouldn't affect how it reads. So this is an outline, but also notice what I've got in here. I've got meet in the avenue, stretches by Heelstone, running around Sarsen Circle, sprint between station stones. So even though I've made up that it's an outdoor gym, I have still used my technical language, okay? Language that is really important for this subject. You can see that all in there. So even though you're making something up about Stonehenge, you still need to include some of the features. Now, all of these are on your sheets that you'll be able to see and have a little look further at. Let's have a look at this one. This is going to be more of an explanation text, or more of a chronological report, talking through sort of a day at Stonehenge in the Stone Age. So again, it's going to be an outdoor gym routine again, but now it's more of an explanation report. So you do this, then you do this, then you do this, then you do this, then you do this. But notice the technical language again. Stretches by Heelstone, pull-ups on lintels, weights supported by bluestones. So I'm using all of those features that we've been, all of those technical vocabulary that we've been looking at this week. I'm using them in my work, and you have to do that as well. And that is about your success criteria, about using language for the reader, okay? Because you've got to use technical language. And again, with this one, notice each one has a subheading, okay? You can look at these in more detail on the sheets that I have sent you, as already mentioned. You must have an introduction and an ending, and that is the same for every single group. Now, if you are in squares, you only need one paragraph. So you need an introduction, one paragraph, and a conclusion. If you're in triangles 1, you'll need 2 paragraphs. Triangles 2, you'll need 3 paragraphs. And circles, I am expecting 4 paragraphs. And remember, all of you will also have an introduction and conclusion as well as. So you're going to be planning one of them today. Now, I would obviously highly recommend that you download that PDF of the book, and you have it while you're planning. So you could use some of the technical vocabulary in your own work. At the back of the book, you'll find a glossary, and you could use some of these as well. So we've got archers, bluestones, Bronze Age, cremation, farming, ferriby boats, fray, henge, lintels, okay, and it goes on and on and on and on. This is all in the back of the PDF file, in the back of the book that I sent you yesterday. So you can have a look at this while you're making your plan. So your task for today, Year 6, is to complete your plan for what Stonehenge would have been used for. The crazier, the better. Now, as mentioned, how many sections? Squares, you will need 3 paragraphs, an introduction, 1 main paragraph and a conclusion. Triangles 1, I'm looking for 4 paragraphs. That's an introduction, 2 paragraphs and a conclusion. Triangles 2, I'm looking for 5 paragraphs, and circles, I'm looking for 6 by the time you include your introduction and your conclusion. Now, you are only planning it today. Make sure that you include, most importantly, subheadings for your reports that you'll be writing, and of course, technical language. Use the book to help you. They are the 2 things that I am looking for, okay? So you must have them inside. So that's your task for this morning, Year 6. I will be Skyping you this morning where we'll talk a little bit more about it. Have a lovely session, and I will speak to you soon.